Today, we have a guest on the show, and I'm very excited about this because, as you mentioned earlier, Tara Bear, it's been a while since we had a guest.
It has been a while. We have just been riffing with like all these good tips and strategies and
All the things.
yummy stuff.
So our first guest for 2023 and our first guest in a while is like big, y'all. Her name is Dr. Raymona H. Lawrence, and she is the founder of and CEO of her own coaching program. But most importantly, her life's work and heartfelt mission is the business of really challenging broken systems that keep women from reaching their highest potential. Now, you might be going, what is she doing on here? Well, she happens to be very into the network marketing space. In fact, I met her because she reached out to me. She'd been listening to the podcast and was like, I love what you do. Can you come on my podcast? I'm like, sure. And we hit it off because and then found out after that we have some common, like, oh, we know this person, this person, this person. The world is small in network marketing. That she actually has been brought into many a network marketing corporate environment, and they've brought her in to be their coach and consultant on how to become more diverse. And so that's like amazing that she has that experience. And of course, she works with the field as well too to help leaders become more diverse. I think this conversation, like, it's platinum. It's not even gold, it's platinum.
I want to say, if you are listening to this and you're like, this doesn't sound like an episode I need, you need to keep listening. You need to listen all the way to the end because it is a really good conversation. I think it's a tough conversation. I'm getting chills right now. I had chills during the whole conversation because it's uncomfortable, but she did a great job of just giving some simple things that we can all do to make the system better.
100%. So if you're sitting here and you are in the majority, maybe you are a big team leader, there's something there for you. If you are sitting here and you are a minority and you're in network marketing, there's something in there for you. And if you're somewhere in between, there's something in there for you as well too. And if you're corporate listening, there's something for you. So I really, like Taryn said, I really hope you take a moment and like lean into this. And then do me a favor, do us a favor, share this. It's okay to be uncomfortable. You can be uncomfortable in your own room. No one has to see you. Share it with others and encourage them to listen to it as well too. Okay, so I have to say, I'm really excited about today because there's been this like current, we address it every year, and as we should, at least once a year, the need for diversity in network marketing and direct selling. But I'm really excited to have you here, Dr. Raymona, because you're like well, first of all, you're a doctor, so that's just cool, but also an expert because you have the knowledge, not only from, you've trained the corporate side of things and also the field. And so I'm really excited about that because there are not many of you or any of you. Maybe you're the only one. You're the unicorn when it comes to this space. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. I'm absolutely loving being here. Love all of the work that you do, Rox. And I'm just excited to really help people to understand why we need inclusion in network marketing. So I love the fact that you have made space for this. And so thank you for that.
Well, thank you. Mutual Appreciation Society. I love what you just said though, like why? Because I think that honestly, in the year of 2020, when we're all at home and there was this awareness, of course, with the murder of George Floyd, people were like, oh, we need to do this. We need to do this. But then I think after that, it was like, oh, but this is kind of hard. It's not as easy as I thought it would be. And I would say people are kind of shying away from it. Like they were like full on and like, okay, well, that was a little intense. I'm going to just keep on doing what I know to do. Why is it important right now, circa 2023, to make sure that's not all about me?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got to be true to ourselves, not only in the world, but in network marketing, right? So we bring people into network marketing and we say, this is for everybody. You can come in, you can succeed, you can thrive. It doesn't matter who you are. And then when people get in, we see that certain people get to the top and then other people are just hanging out down here at the bottom. And then we ignore it, we put our blinders on and we say, it's just they didn't work hard enough. They didn't do what they were supposed to do to get to the top of this company. When you see a lot of people who worked a whole lot less getting all the way to the top and a whole lot of people working real hard and they're hanging out at the bottom. And so I think it's when we're trying to develop and to nurture this reputation of network marketing, we've got to be authentic and say, what is it that is wrong with the system? Just like what we say in the world, what's wrong with the system that's keeping some people from getting to the top? And a lot of people say, well, if they're not working hard enough, if people aren't doing what they're supposed to do, then that's the only issue. But then I'm looking at it like, no, 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 no. I'm looking across all of these companies and I see a lot of people that are trying to get out into their communities. They're trying to work hard and they're still not making it. And so I'm like, okay, I'm skipping past this stuff that it's about me. It's about this idea of individualism and what is wrong with the whole system, right? No excuses. You got to do the work. But what's wrong with the system?
You're going to make people feel really uncomfortable because
let's go. Let's go.
Because here's the thing. If the system is working for them, why would they want to change it?
Right.
And that's what's happening in the larger world, right? The system works for some of us. So even I can say, hey, I got my doctorate. I got my letters behind my name. You go do what I did and you make it work, right? Yeah, she's a Black woman. She broke through. She got there, right? But if I also look at it, I have always had a mother and a father. I've been in a 2-parent home. When I grew up, I lived on Raymona Drive. It was named after me, right?
Wow.
Listen, and so I recognize my privilege and the support that I had when I went to school. My mom kept my child, right? I had so much support and so many things that helped me to get there. This idea of, what we talk about individualism, like I made it, so should you. When we focus on that, we forget that not everybody has all of those same circumstances. And that sometimes that's the reason that they're not moving as quickly to the top as other people can.
Yeah, and I think that's such a good point because especially in network marketing, direct selling, social retail, the system is made for there to be a top and a bottom. It really is. Let's call the spade a spade. I want people who are feeling a little bit threatened right now to understand that realizing that you have privilege is not a bad thing. Like it doesn't make you who you're bad. You have privilege, you're bad. It's not a bad thing. And I think that in society at large, I know we're talking about network marketing, but I feel like we're talking about the world right now. There has been this stigma of, okay, if I realize I have privilege, then I'm a bad person, or it means that I'm not worthy of what I've achieved. And so then people start to like fight against that.
Yeah.
As well.
I love that you're calling that out, that piece. Because I know I have felt that way before. So it's like, so if you do come from a place of more privilege, how can you like reach down and bring more people up with you? I guess is my question. How can we fix it?
Yeah. And one thing that I want people to understand is that network marketing is a micro system of the macro system, right? So our world, network marketing mirrors what happens in the world. And so people in the world have privilege, people in network marketing have certain privilege. One reason that we have privilege is that when you start with, we all say this, we all have the same products, we all have the same 24 hours, we all have the same compensation plan. But when those products were made for a certain type of person, and then you try to take it into a different community, then you do have more of an advantage for selling sunscreen or, suntan lotion than I do. Okay.
You just hit a nerve and you didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know the story. I'm like, oh yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so that's going to work better in your community than it is in mine, right? And so when we think about privilege, it's like, yeah, okay, if you're a white man or a white woman, then your voice is automatically heard sometimes, and you're automatically given more authority than I might be, right? And so that means that what you do is when you recognize that, you say, okay, what can I do to make sure that I'm opening up the room for other people? So when you see me or someone else in the room, you might just say something simple like, okay, Ramona, what do you think? Right? Or, you know, what is tell us your opinion, and don't take my idea and say that you said it. Right?
Yes.
It's simple things like this that
Yeah.
we can do to start to be more inclusive and to open up this, you know, bigger space for people to really be authentic in who they are and to have a voice. And so, you know, we could talk all day about privilege, but I don't think that there's nothing wrong with privilege. We all have it in some ways. Just like I said, I can walk in some rooms that you as a white woman can't walk in just because I have a doctoral degree and you don't, right?
Right.
And so that's a privilege. And so I recognize that, and I'm going to make sure that I take those ideas or I open up opportunities in that space because I have the privilege to walk in that space and you don't, right? So yeah.
And
That's good.
yeah, that's really powerful. And I do want to take a moment actually and call out because I realized in 2022, and it was very hard for me. Like I had this just like personal time and moment when everything was going on that like to make change happen and to make the world more, I don't know, fair, if that's even, it's not even phrased correctly. I cannot personally advocate for rights of a Black woman and be heard as much as like Taryn can. And that was really frustrating for me because I'm like, wait, I can't advocate for my own rights. Like, are you kidding me? But I realized in 2020 that it actually takes the majority, whoever's in the majority, saying, oh, wait a moment, let's shine a light on this for people to pay attention. And that was very humbling for me because I've always seen myself as a influential voice. And I'm like, oh, it's not actually, my voice is not as influential as I thought it was. So I want to take a moment because I do want to take a moment and just shout out Colleen Nichols from No Sales Shame. No, I always get that wrong. She's gonna get me. No Shame Sales Game, because she went out on a limb and did a post about the fact that we need more diversity in network marketing, and then tagged and had a whole discussion. And she tagged voices of color in that, including myself. And she didn't have to do that. There was no like,
She did.
She didn't get kicked back for that. That was her feeling it on her heart and doing that, knowing that she has a large platform and she wanted to use it for good. So I do want to shout out for that. And I know that you and I had a good time chatting on that chat, going back and forth.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel, just honestly, like knowing that we have to get advocates who are willing to, you know, and she said she was nervous. She was nervous putting that post up. Not everyone's as brave as she is. How, like what? So for those, I guess where I'm going with this question is for those who are like us, women of color, maybe not even women of color, maybe they are a minority in other ways, right? Could be sexual orientation or whatever it might be. How do we get our voice heard?
Yeah, and I came to the same realization recently. So when I first started this work, I'm like, you know, people of color unite, right? Let's go, let's make our voices heard. And one thing that I started to realize is that, and with my study and all of the things that I've done, is that racism is not an instance, it is a structure of power, right? It is a system. And so when we are thinking about issues of race and privilege and all of this stuff, then one thing that we have to understand is that there's not an ability of people of color to change systems of power, right, by themselves. Because the systems of power lie with those that are in the majority. So if we get together and we say we're going to change all these systems of power when we're not at the table, how is that going to work? And so, yes, it is a very, very hard realization. And we know that a lot of times men who are in the majority have not come together to change things. They're not speaking out and saying, let's change the world, let's change the system because it works for them. So why we need white women is because they are the ones that are right next to the people that have the most power in this country.
Yeah.
And if you don't speak out, you're the ones that are feeding them, making their bed, lying with them, all of that. And so it is so important for you to be the one that is saying, okay, I've got the ear, I've got the position, I'm right next to the top, right? And so that those people, white women, have to come and say, hey, I see what's going on, and I'm going to step out there and I'm going to be an advocate because I'm the person that can make probably the most change, because we already know that the men aren't really trying to make a big change. We're not talking about individuals. Again, the system. So I don't want anybody to say we're talking about people, individuals. We're talking about the system, right? And so, Rox, yes, I've come to that realization too. And so how do we do that? We start to educate women, right? White women who are willing to have the conversation. If they're not willing to have the conversation, it's okay, right? We educate the ones who do, or they take on their own education, right? We don't want you to depend on Black women to educate you. There's a lot of information out there. And so what we do is say, how do we find people that are willing to be reflective within themselves? And how do we find people that are willing to do their own education and talk to them about what's going on, and then have them to take little baby steps, right? So we don't expect you to go out and be DEI, experts tomorrow, or is to say that you understand the experiences of women of color. Not at all. But listen and say, okay, what can I do to be an ally or an advocate in this particular situation? So does that answer the question?
It does.
Rox?
Thank you.
Okay.
And DEI, for was like, what does she mean? Diversity,
equity, and inclusion.
Equity. Hello, I got the wrong. Hello, I'm on a roll. Don't ask me.
You got it.
So I have to say, I was a little disappointed this year. It happens. I mean, last year, excuse me. We're recording this in 2022, everyone, so I might slip up. By the way, it's 22-22, or it's 12-22-22.
Yeah.
Because there was a company, and this could be many a company, really network marketing, who came out with a brand new product in 2022, and admittedly did not test it on people of color past a certain shade. Let's truly and they just didn't. They didn't. So I have to only assume that they figured, well, our guinea pigs are going to be our distributors, right? Like that are of that color, but came out with a big product. Here it is. And then with a little bit more research, they had not, in 2022, had not taken the time to research how it works on all people. And I think that to me actually didn't surprise me, because here we go again. What surprised me is that when talking to women of color in that company, they said, well, they got to go where the money is. And I just was like, oh, that just that hurt my soul to the core, because they don't. And there is, I mean, yes, you want to make money, don't get me wrong, but you really can test it on everybody. And you really can. How great would it be if you're like, we've tested this on everybody and it works for everybody? But to make a huge launch and purposely disclude a certain, what does that say? And what is I don't know if I think I'm more saddened by the distributors who are like, well, that's of color, who were like, we'll just be the guinea pigs. And yeah, that's just fine. It's like, how beaten down have you been that is okay?
Yeah. And I think one, for the company side of things, companies, they put out these statements, they put the, black box up and on Instagram, they do different things that say that they want to be inclusive, but then when they get to these product launches or the systems that they have in their company, they don't look at the customer journey from every point of view. And so when you're launching a product, okay, let's see how this would be perceived by our traditional customer who might be a white woman. Okay, how would this be perceived by a Black woman? How would this be perceived by someone who is Asian, right? What is the perception and what are some pitfalls that we have. So if you follow the customer journey before you launch this thing, you can avoid a lot that's happening. And then one thing about when you said the consultants were okay with it, we have gotten, and I'm going to say as people of color sometimes, we have gotten to a place where we're like, we've heard that narrative so much that you just got to work harder, you got to do right, you got to code switch, you got to do all this, that we take that in and we start to internalize that. And then when we see a situation, we don't even speak out anymore because we're so conditioned to say, I've just got to fit in here. I can't speak out. I might ruffle the, feathers or, have a problem if I say something. And so we've got to get to the point where we're sensitive to those things again and don't develop this. And I keep talking about individualism because it's such a huge issue when we say, oh, it's just me. If I'm fine, everything else is fine. And that is not the way that we should navigate the world, is to say, if I make it, forget everybody else. And so that's why I concentrate so much on systems, because yeah, I can make it in a lot of ways. But if everybody else is not okay, I'm not okay. I shouldn't be okay if everybody's not okay. We all win when we all cross the finish line.
We do. The spotlight is given for everyone. We just need to make it better. It's not hurting anyone in any way. I have to tell you, when I said you struck a nerve earlier, it's because it's the gift that won't stop being given to me. So, the tanning, the self tanner. I don't know why my world is just I don't stay away. There was a situation back in the day, a few years back, where there was a company that had we have a kit for the holidays for everybody. And with it was a foaming sunless tan. And I was like, hi. And I wrote them
It's not for everybody.
That's not for everybody, actually. And oh, we didn't even realize it. Sorry. So ironically, another company, all right, literally this holiday season, I'd purchased collagen, and I guess you got a free gift with it. What is my freaking free gift? Foaming sunless tan. I'm like,
Oh,
and I was thinking of you have hundreds of packets of product. Why do you pick one that is only going to work for a certain group of people and make that the free gift? That's garbage on my counter is what it is. I'm not, that's not that. And I hate you can just gift it to someone, because why should I have to it's not something like have a rare allergy and they would never have known that. They know that there's a certain percentage of their audience that cannot use foaming sunless tan. Or if they don't, they need to just put A and B and realize it's not that hard to figure out. And it's so, I'm like, why is the foaming sunless tan back in my life? Go away.
It's almost like they're giving it to everybody. And so then what if I get a gift for a male? They think through that, right? They're they're thinking oh, this is good for all sexes. Okay, take it a step further and let's think about all skin types.
Right. Especially if you anyway, it just irks me because I'm like, you really decide. Either you are ignorant or you decided you didn't care. And to me, in 2022 and 2023, none of those are really appropriate when you're a company that's making as much money as you're making.
Yeah. Absolutely. And this is why a lot of customers don't stay and a lot of consultants don't stay, right? Because we have this idea of equality. Okay, we've given everybody the same thing, right? We've given everybody the sunless tanner. So you should make it. Go out, sell it to your community. And if it doesn't work, you didn't work hard enough. You didn't go out and, post about that tanner and go into your community and set up a whole stand of tanners and do all the activity that you could. And it's it just doesn't even make sense when you think of it that way. And so that's why I absolutely detest that phrase that we all have the same products compensation plan 24 hours in a day, because we don't. There's so many different things. Even my 24 hours looks different than a single mom's 24 hours, right? Or a person that doesn't have their family around them that I do. Their 24 hours doesn't look the same and it doesn't translate to the same, right? And when you have team members in different countries and regions of the world, it doesn't look the same, right? And so we really have to start to think about those things as we're developing our systems and selling our products and really putting our services out there in network marketing.
Amen. So how do we do that? For those who are like, okay, I do want diversity. I do want to be able to look at my team and go, wow, I'm United Colors of Benetton, and that's amazing. And look at how it not only we learn from each other, but how many different people we're able to serve because we have this amazing melting pot of a group. Maybe not a melting pot, maybe it's like a mixed salad. That's fine. We're all together. So how do we do that?
Yeah, I think one thing that you have to remember is that everything doesn't have to happen all at the same time. And so people get overwhelmed when they start to think about inclusion and like, oh, I have all of these countries, all of these people, all of these different personalities. How in the world am I going to include every person and make changes for every single person? Well, that's not necessarily what I'm asking. It's like, okay, let's start with this policy that I have. Let's start to think about, presentations, right? And so here's our standard presentation that we do for communities, okay? Everybody that is different, come, let's look at it, let's talk through it. How would this be different for your community? If I'm doing this in person, can I just walk up in your family's house without having a relationship, right? Do you just call me up and say, hey, can I come do a party at your house? That's taboo in some places, right? Or in some communities. And so let's think about what this process is like for you and for you and for you and for you. Once we start to adapt those things, then we can move to something else. How would this product translate in your community, in your community, in your community? What's most important for your community, right? So if there's a skincare product, African American person might think of it as I just want to get rid of dark spots. It might help somebody else with more wrinkles, right? So, what is the messaging that's best for your community, right? We're not changing the products, we're not changing the presentation. We're just saying, okay, what are some ways that I adapt this? And it takes listening and it takes thinking through and interacting with different communities so you know how to help people to adjust it to their own community or the people that they interact with the most.
My brain is like, you just gave me all these ideas. And I if those of you listening, unless you're like in corporate and high corporate, good to see you. Thanks for listening. But if you're not, if you're in the field and you're listening to this, you're like, wait, can I do this? You totally can. If you're a leader, if you have a team, even if your team is not diverse right now, if you know someone who isn't like you that you feel comfortable with, ask them, hey, can you just take a look at this? When you see something like this is what this product is for. How would it translate to your community? And ask them that question. But if they are on your team, do you know how amazing it is to be on someone's team? It doesn't have to be your direct, could be like 5 down, 10 down, 25 down, whatever. Getting asked from you, the leader, hey, can you take a look at this? And we just want to make sure that we're including your thought process for your community. And that is like amazing and so easy to do.
So simple. That's why I'm like, you're saying this, and this is just like, wow, that it is
and
so
why are we
simple
not
for
doing
everyone
this?
to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, you don't have to think of this as something that's so difficult. There are different strategies, I can give you to help you to broaden your lens, right? So that's the thing. And I want people to understand that even if your team doesn't have racial and ethnic diversity, you have some type of diversity on your team, right? So talk to people because, like I said, I use the example of family structure because it's easy for people to understand. So even if your team is all white women, all black women, whatever, then they still have different, probably family structures, lifestyles, work styles. So ask. Right. That's the biggest thing. Just ask, like, how does this work when you're a single mom and you have to have a meeting at 8 p.m., on this day, and you're trying to deal with the kids by yourself, or you got to go and host this presentation at 5 p.m. What is this like for you? Right. And so it doesn't mean that you can change everything, but a lot of times people need to be heard and they need to be given the space to adapt things, because we're in network marketing are like duplicate, duplicate, do exactly what I do. And if you don't do it exactly the way I do it, then you're doing it the wrong way. And that is keeping us in the revolving door of clients, customers, business partners, wherever you refer to your people that buy from you or come on your team as, they're getting out the door because it feels like it doesn't work for them because you've only given them the option to do it like you do it. And that's not how life works. Life doesn't work that way, and our business won't either.
Amen. That's like the word duplication to me. It's just like cringe, because it's like, wait, you don't want, you are only, you're the only you. So expecting someone who comes in to be just like you. And I've heard people go, I'm looking for me. I just want to recruit another me. That's not going to happen. That doesn't exist.
There's not another one of those. And Roxanne, I want to call out, I think you do an amazing job with the clients that you work with, because you really hone in on like, okay, let's look at you. Let's look at your situation. How can we make this work for you? Maybe you can't do that in-person party. So what's another fun way we can make this work? And you're really taking away, like, let's not try to duplicate it. How can we like mold it to you as a person?
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I realize it's not as simple. If you're like, I have to make it forever, but yeah, you do. If you want to grow your team, you have to meet them where they are, and realize that the way that they're going to be successful may not be the way you are successful. And that is exciting and okay.
And people often talk about the time that it takes, but think about the time that it takes losing team members, retraining people, trying to, bang your head against the wall, figure out why this isn't working for you. All of that is something that you don't want to do. And so take a little bit of time in the beginning, and then you'll keep the people and you'll be able to rise to the higher ranks, and you'll have a happier team that's not just constantly cycling off and moving into, out of network marketing into another company, trying something new. And again, we all have to do the work. And a lot of people look at me and say, this is, you're trying to give people excuses as to why it didn't work for them. Absolutely not. Because I see a lot of hardworking people that aren't making it because we're not making these small tweaks in our system that help people really to get to the top and to thrive.
Be successful.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you are different in some way, again, doesn't have to be race, any way than your team, and you're feeling like, I can't be successful because I'm not like this leader or that leader, I hope you find some encouragement in this conversation as well too, and realize you can be successful. It's okay to do it differently. Do it so it works for you. Because I don't want you to quit. We want you here. We need you here. And realizing it's okay to be yourself. Now you might like Roxanne, okay, but being myself, I'm not on the team for that. That's okay. You're an orphan. It's okay to be an orphan. Come DM me, slide in my DMs. We will work out the orphanism. That's okay. But if you believed in the process, the concept of network marketing, if you believed in your company and you really wanted to give it a shot, and you are giving it a shot, but you just don't feel that support, that does not mean that this doesn't work. It just means that we got to make it work for you.
Exactly. And that's one thing to point out, is that we love network marketing, right? It's just that we're bold enough and brave enough to challenge the system. And that's the thing, is that, nobody's saying don't do network marketing, that it's a bad place. It's a great place to be, but the system needs to be challenged. And that's been a problem for a very long time in this industry. And so, I'm very much willing to do that and to challenge the system, because I think that's what we need to make sure that we see more people thriving in this industry.
Amen.
I think too, I was gonna say, this conversation is empowering me to let me know that I have a seat at the table as a white woman, because, this is kind of vulnerable for me. I feel like I can't speak for you. And so I don't know how to do that. And you just shared really simple ways that I can improve things in my family, in my community, and in network marketing. And so I'm liking I'm just loving this conversation. I literally have had chills the whole time because it's like, wow, this is how I can show up. This is how I can help. And realizing like I have a big role in this as well. Whereas before I'm like, I don't know how to fight this battle. It's not my battle. I'm white. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. This is my battle too.
And the big thing about that, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry.
I'm like, oh, now I'm crying. Because Taryn has been part of the RoxTalks podcast for a year and some change now. And we've had a couple of these. I'm like, all right, we're going to talk about diversity and race. She's like, are you sure you want me on this call? Like,
I was like, I'll sit this one out. You probably don't want me there. Like,
and I'm always like, no, I want you there. But it's just exciting to hear you say this and this conversation, how that has like, you're like, all right, like, as opposed to the past, you're like, you're almost like, I'm here, but I hope it's okay.
I don't want to say the wrong thing. Like,
and take off the burden of, because I don't think people of color are asking you to speak for them, right? Because you don't have the lived experience, you don't have the ability to speak for us, but we're saying realize your part in any kind of system that has been set up that keeps people from reaching their highest potential, and then speak out when you see things that are keeping people of color oppressed or keeping people tying into this system, right? That's what you have to do. It's not that you've got to say, I understand, that what people go through, because you don't,
because
right?
I don't.
Yeah, but it's the reflection that you have and the ability to say, I see this, and now I've realized that this is wrong. So I'm going to speak out against this particular activity or system, and not necessarily speaking for us.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh, okay. So this has been fantastic. I could talk to you forever because you just like, you're magical. You're like a unicorn. What's going on in your life? How can we support, get more of Dr. Raymona? Tell us.
Yeah, so you can definitely follow me on Instagram. I'm at Dr. Raymona H. Lawrence, and I'm posting things constantly there, whether it be videos or different types of posts about inclusion and in network marketing. And I'm also about to do a giveaway where we are talking about loving my network. And so I'm always thinking of, how do you diversify your network, build it, grow it? And so we are pulling together a group of creators who are going to give away things that help you to build your business and really build diverse, inclusive businesses. And I think that's what is so needed, especially now in network marketing. And so that will happen on January the 30th, and it will go up until February 12th. It's called Loving My Network because it's right before Valentine's Day. And so you are going to love the expansion of your network up until then. And so that's what's coming up next for me. So I hope that you all will plug in and hop onto that giveaway.
Absolutely. That sounds amazing. I love it. Pun intended. Thank you so much, Dr. Raymona. We appreciate you. We're going to have you back on again. This is not the end of you.
Absolutely.
And I know it's not the holidays, but let's pretend it's the 22nd, because it really is. Happy holidays. I know it's January.
She had to say it. She had to say it. She can't not.
All right. Oh, Taryn, you got me crying. I hope you're happy.
I'm just getting you all bothered this week. Got you a little, ruffled your feathers a little bit. Now I've got you crying. Like, I think the other day in our Slack, you're like, we're like a family. I'm like, we are.
We are family. We are family. A lot of singing this week. Sorry. What's going on with you behind the scenes?
Sometimes I prepare for these. I'm like, what am I going to say? I feel very unprepared right now, but unprepared also for what's about to happen to us today here in Michigan. We're supposed to get a blizzard.
Not the Dairy Queen kind, because those are yummy.
Not the yummy kind, like the scary kind. And so I've been worried about all our family that's coming into town. We're recording this just before Christmas, and it is coming like when everyone would be driving. So it's just, my grandpa got here last night. My uncle got here last night. I'm not sure about my cousin, but I didn't go to the store to like prep. We had like a little bit of milk. I mean, we're 2 blocks from the store. So if I had to, like, I would gear up and drive 5 miles per hour to the store.
I thought you were going to say walk. I was waiting for the
No.
walk.
Please, I can't. No.
Walk it.
I could.
No?
You know, you guys, I lived in Chicago for a long time and it is cold there. Holy cow. Like, I thought Michigan was cold. Chicago is cold. Cold.
I did
So,
Michigan for 3 years when I was in law school at Go Blue, Ann Arbor, which by now we'll have known if they're the champions or not. We don't know yet.
We will.
I know, because you're listening in the future. Oh, please beat TCU and Georgia, because
we won.
We won. We are the champions, my friend. Anyhow, Scott just asked me the other day, he's like, do you want to move back to Michigan? I'm like, hell to no. He's like, why not? I'm like, it is so
Did he ask
cold.
that? Does he want to live near me?
I think that might be what it is, because it's not.
We could just all hang out.
Then he said, I've decided again that I don't want to live anywhere else in the United States but Southern California. I'm like, I know you go through this all the time. You know this, darling. I mean, we're going to live in the Bahamas and here. Boom, bada, boom, boom, boom. So that's the plan.
Don't come to Michigan. Sorry. I will. Yeah. No.
Our goal, though, let's age ourselves now. My 20th anniversary, or my reunion, I should say, from graduating from law school is this year, 2023.
Are you going to come?
I want to. You know, we got a lot of things going on, like wedding and stuff like that, but it'll be in the fall. And the fall is so beautiful in the law quad in Ann Arbor. Yes. Speaking of privilege, I'm like,
I'll come.
The law quad in Ann Arbor. Yes, I'm privileged. I went to, but so
that would be so cool. I will drive right on over.
Were you? That was my thing.
Yeah.
You drive? Yeah. Okay. So another reason we can do that. So let me just see. I was like, because I want him to come with me, because he's never experienced Roxanne the law student or Roxanne the lawyer. He never saw that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I hope you just wear suits the whole time and you but kind of like Legally Blonde style, because we know you know, you need to have that extra.
Yeah, I'll bring Baylor. I object. Yeah.
Yes. Oh gosh.
Too funny. So yesterday I went to the new gym. I think I told you.
And?
Yeah, I went to the new gym for the first time. It was open. There were a lot of people. I didn't love that.
But it was new, so it's going to be.
And it's December and January's coming up. There are a lot of people. My buddy who I joined with, she's now decided she's going to go do Lifetime. That's opening soon. So I've lost my buddy already. I am going to give it a chance, because I have like a month to do that, because I want to know if it has. Today I go to the bouncing class, the trampoline class.
Yeah.
If I enjoy the classes and I can get into them, then it'll be worth it for me, because I'm not going to use the gym thingy things. I've got a trainer that makes me do those things. I'm not going to be like, oh, let me just play on this machine. So we'll see. Or I'll decide to like, I paused my Equinox membership. I'll decide to like get it back on and not cancel it, or I'll find something else. But Lifetime is $100 more than what I'm spending right now. I am not doing Lifetime a month. I am not doing Lifetime. I guess I'm not that bougie. I'm okay. I'm not doing Lifetime at least before the wedding. At least.
Yeah. See, here's where we differ. I don't want to spend any money on a gym membership. I will YouTube. I will take a breather during the commercial that shows up. I am working out for free.
Yeah, but you know, you have kids and things. Like for me, it's a social thing as well too. Like if I get the right gym, it's like, oh, it's my social time, because I'm in a box. This is where I live, in this box. You know what I'm saying? And so your kids keep
See,
you social.
Roxanne, it's not even the kids. I can't even blame it on them. Like I literally, my human design 2-4, I am a hermit. I want to be alone. I do not want to work out with someone. Nope. Did the gym thing. No, I don't want to be near anyone.
Okay. Well, we'll see what I do. Well, it's hard to say. And then we leave in a couple days to go see the Cardinals play Tom Brady. One of his last games, maybe. Who knows? He might be retiring.
He's retiring again?
He hasn't said it, but I kind of feel like he should.
You're like, but he should.
I mean, this year has been an abomination. Should have retired and taken that Fox deal and been a commentator before. And then all things came out with Giselle and all things and their divorce. So I don't know, but we're leaving on Christmas Day. They play that day. They would come back on Boxing Day. So Scott will he loves Tom Brady. So
I do too. Oh my gosh, I love Tom Brady. So let him know I'm available. I would happily get a divorce if I needed to for him.
Is that the one, like, you guys have that agreement term? It's like, okay, that's the one. If he comes knocking, I guess I know that I'll just be the baby daddy.
He would be so fine because I'd have to pay him alimony. So
And
he'd be like,
like,
you
he
do you,
is
girl.
a Michigander. I mean, he went to Michigan, I should say, San Francisco, but he went to Michigan, so he is go blue. So there's that.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's
All right,
fine.
well,
So
consider this. We
tune
put it on
in
the
next
board.
week to see if Taryn's getting a divorce.
Bye, y'all.